Hi guys, Waleed here again, and I'm going to start this video from a screen from the previous video where we saw respect, applause, and so many whistles for this guy, Mr. Maven, who made life so much easier for our friend Stephanie. And Stephanie just had to pass on the list of items to get to this guy, Mr. Maven. And in the meantime, you could see Stephanie enjoying her time with a cup of coffee and playing some really good music. And then after some time, Maven got the items for Stephanie, right? So that was the analogy that I talked about in the previous video, where in the real world, this guy, Mr. Maven, helps customers at the departmental store, right? So now we're going to do it practically in the Java world, right? That is creating. I'll just create a project from scratch using Maven, right? Walk you through what we would do and how Maven solves the problems what were associated with the traditional way of creating Java projects. But before that, I'll talk about the traditional way as well. And let me take an example of if you in your project want to connect to MySQL, the database. So what are the steps that you would take? You will go to your search engine, type in the query that is MySQL connector J, that is the jar file you require. So the search engine would come up with the results, and you'll go to the result that has the official website of MySQL. And then what you would do is you will go to the official website, search for the download section, and then from there you'll download the MySQL connector J with the latest version on your system. Then go to Eclipse, edit your Java project, and these are the steps you have to go through. That is a lot of pain involved there. And this is just about if your project requires one particular dependency. Now think about if you require, like Stephanie in the real world required multiple items from different corners to be had, right? So, but for this particular dependency, there's so many steps involved, right? But with Maven, it's all going to be as easy as eating a piece of cake. So let's get started, guys. See, I have my Eclipse window open. I'm just going to create a new project for you, right? And I'm going to search for Maven, right? And you select Maven Project here. Under Maven, you select the Maven project, hit next in Eclipse, and just keep everything as it is on this screen. Click next, and here you'll select the internal catalog, and from there keep this option selected that says Maven Archetype Quick Start, right? So what is an archetype in Maven now, right? So an archetype is like you can say it gives you something to be started with out of the box from Maven, right? And as it says in the description, an archetype which contains a sample Maven project, right? That is what Eclipse tells you on this wizard, right? So again, what is an archetype? First, I can tell you it is a very typical example of a certain person or thing. That is the English definition, guys. A typical example of a certain person or thing, right? That is an archetype. And within a Maven project, we use archetypes to try and get the users up and running as quickly as possible. That again is coming from the official site of Maven, right? They tell you that they use archetypes in the Maven world to get the developers up and running with their projects as quickly as possible by providing you with a sample project that demonstrates many of the features of Maven, right? And in a matter of seconds, a new developer can have a working Maven project to use as a kickstart. It can be your kickstart, right? That is an archetype, right? As I told you, the English definition as well. A typical example of a certain person or thing. And there are a lot of archetypes here. Even in this catalog, you'll see there are a lot of archetypes. But for the starter Maven projects, we prefer the quick start Maven archetype. And it tells you the description, an archetype which contains a sample Maven project, which you can just run, right? Out of the box, a Java project that is with Maven, which you can just run. I'll tell you more about it. Hit next, and then the group ID. So what would you keep the group ID here, guys? What is the group ID? This element in a Maven project indicates the unique identifier of the organization or the group that created the project. Let's say your organization, right? For example, I'll keep it to com.walid. You can keep it to com.abc, you can keep it to com.john, com.umar, com.rishabh, com.nidhi, or com.stephanie, for example. So it means these projects belong to a certain group. And then the artifact ID. This is the unique artifact ID of your project. In a way, it is an identifier for your project, guys. So I'll just call it Maven Starter Pro. That's what we are doing. We are creating a Maven Starter project. And the version, let's keep it to 1.0.0. That in the Maven ecosystem means what is the development version of my project. And later on you can change it, right? And then the package name. Again, with Java, we follow the recommendations. It should be in reverse domain. So I can keep it to com.walid.maven.training. Or you could have kept it to com.walid.java.training or even com.nidhi.training, right? Whatever way you prefer, guys. So keeping things as they are like here, I'll hit finish. So Eclipse is going to create the new Maven project for me, and it's done. A new Maven project has been created for you. You can just go to the package explorer and see Maven Starter Pro. Just expand this and you're seeing the directory structure of this Maven project, guys. And that is the directory structure of a Maven project, whether you're working in an IDE like Eclipse or IntelliJ, Visual Studio Code, NetBeans, it's going to be the same. That is, as I told you in the previous video, that is one of the great benefits of Maven is it gives you a uniform way of building projects that runs the same across multiple modern IDEs, right? So in this video, we got started with the hands-on on Maven and we created our first Maven project, right? Now, let me tell you more about this structure in the next video.